Right, champs, if you want to get to 100K a month in an expert creator business, you need to be able to use ads. But here's what pisses me off about every single ads expert on the internet. They're all obsessing over complex funnels, they're tracking every micro conversion, and they're getting absolutely stoked about hitting a 2, maybe 4x return on ad spend. Now, so far in 2025, I've spent $10,020 on advertising, and I've collected $377,008 in cash. That is a 37x return on ad spend. And you know what? I did it all without all these complex funnels. I did it without sales calls, no appointment setters, no sales closers, and without spending 12 hours a day bleeding my eyes out on Facebook Ads Manager, trying to optimize every single fucking pixel. Because the reason most creators are struggling with ads isn't because they don't know how to set them up. It's honestly pretty easy to set up ads on Facebook Ads Manager. It's because they're playing the wrong game entirely. It's a game that stopped working years ago. So in this video, I'm going to show you the exact strategy that I've been using over the past 12, 18 months or so that you can do this too. And if you're tired of complicated ad strategies, or you just want the simplest path to scale your creator business without all the headaches you're going to get from staring at Ads Manager all day, then this video is for you. Now, before we dive in, you might be wondering why I hate on funnels all the time. I kind of bash funnels all the time. And that's because I literally worked with some of the biggest brands on earth to optimize their funnels. We're talking Pizza Hut, Chanel, luxury brands like Harrods and Selfridges, Harvey Nichols in the UK, travel companies like Virgin Atlantic and Virgin Holidays. And then I also helped some fashion brands like Tommy Hilfiger and Superdry. These are pretty big companies, and we're talking companies here that are spending millions per day on ad spend. And my job was to literally tell their digital teams, change this, change that. You need to make this different so you can optimize this part of your funnel so you can make more money. So when I tell you that funnels are the wrong approach for creators in 2025, it's not because I don't understand them. It's because I understand them too fucking well. I've seen what happens when the biggest brands on earth pour unlimited budget into advertising. And guess what? You ain't gonna compete with Pizza Hut's ad budget, even if you're an absolute pizza slut like I am. That's why I had to figure out a completely different approach. And over the past 18 months, I've built my consulting business to over 6 figures per month using just my one simple flywheel approach instead. Hit a record month a couple of weeks ago, hit 161K in new business for Scale 20, and I was traveling the entire time. I was in Dubai, Barcelona, Ibiza. I was doing high rocks with my clients. I ran the Ibiza half marathon. Look, and so if you want to do this kind of thing, like me and my clients, and if you're already doing 5 to 10K a month, and you want to scale to your next 20K monthly milestone, then DM me 77 on Instagram. The link's down in the description, and I'll send you the details. Here's the thing that bugs me the most, honestly. I see creators every single day getting absolutely destroyed by ads. They're spending thousands of dollars on complex funnels, hiring Facebook ads experts who charge them $3K per month just to manage some campaigns, and they barely break even. They wonder why ads don't work. I've watched creators go from profitable businesses to being completely fucking broke because they thought they needed to scale with paid ads. Scale with paid ads is what all these funnel gimps taught them. They're running VSL funnels, webinar funnels, book funnels, whatever the fuck funnels, tracking 47 different metrics and celebrating when they finally hit their first 3x ROAS like they've just won the lottery. Meanwhile, they're also working 80-hour weeks, stressed out of their minds, and their profit margins are getting absolutely destroyed by those ad costs. So they're on this fucking treadmill. Now, see, there's two types of creators when it comes to ads. There's the ones who think more complexity equals more success. And then there's ones like me and you who understand that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Look, let's be real here. If you're anything like me, you probably got into this creator game not to become a slave to the Facebook Ads Manager and paying Mark Zuckerberg for his next underground bunker that he's building somewhere. So let me break down exactly why the funnel approach is broken and how my one simple flywheel gets way better results with way less complexity. I think that's pretty sick. Okay, first, let's talk about why these funnel gimps are getting it all wrong. The entire funnel industry was built during the gold rush era of online advertising from around 2013 to about 2018. Guys you will all know, like Hormozy, Russell Brunson, Sam Ovens, Alex Becker. All these guys, they made their initial millions when advertising costs were basically free. That's how Hormozy got his first break. He basically went and just arbitraged Facebook advertising. And back then you could throw massive amounts of cold traffic at any product page and conversions would happen because there was no competition. But when the biggest brands on earth woke up a few years later, the guys that I used to work for, the Pizza Huts, the Chanels, the Tommy Hilfigers, those brands, those enterprise brands, when they started pouring their massive advertising budgets into online ads, things kind of got a bit spicy. Now, they were just a few steps behind the early adopter curve, all of those guys that I just mentioned. And look, guess what happens when you're competing against companies with unlimited budgets? Your ad costs go through the roof. So here's what these funnel gimps don't understand. There's a massive difference between impulse purchases and considered purchases. You can push someone to buy a $50 swatch with cold traffic because it's an impulse purchase. I literally bought one at the airport once because it was like $60. I was like, I'll have it. Then there's a considered purchase, like buying a Rolex. Nobody wakes up and says, hey, I need business coaching today, and immediately goes and buys a 5K program. That is not how it works. Just like how if I wanted to go buy a brand new Rolex from a product page, I couldn't. This is why I switched from funnels to flywheels, and it's changed everything. Here's the main difference. Funnels rely on lead volume. You need massive amounts of traffic because most leads die at the bottom of your funnel. You've paid for that traffic, but then they disappear forever. Flywheels, on the other hand, they rely on lead efficiency. You get the right people in and you're incredibly efficient with nurturing them over time. With funnels, you have to use sales-based conversion, I call SBC. You need sales calls, appointment setters, closers, because you have to convert them immediately or they will fall through the bottom of the funnel onto a dead pile of leads when their intent to buy has waned. Funnels relied on an ocean of leads who they could be a great fit to work with you, or they could just be total shite. With flywheels, however, we use marketing-based conversion, MBC. People convert themselves over time as you build trust and authority. The main KPI we're looking for in a flywheel is getting people as fast as possible to consume 11 hours of content. This is based on Google's 7-11-4 rule, where they found in order to build up enough trust to buy from someone online, you need to have consumed on average 11 hours of content. That's why I don't do sales calls anymore. I just give people the option to work with me, and the right people just raise their hand and say, it's my turn. I've turned my consulting business from a swatch that anyone can buy at any time into a Rolex that quite literally has a waitlist. You should join my waitlist, by the way. Now, before I show you my strategy, I want to share something that fundamentally changed how I think about ads. A few months ago, I was at a mastermind in Dubai and I met Sabri Subi. If you don't know who he is, he's the Australian Shark Tank dude and he runs an advertising agency called King Kong. And he works with some of the biggest brands in the world to do their advertising campaigns for them. Check out this clip of him talking about his advertising strategy and how he thinks about ads.
But I would not rely purely on organic to build my business. One of the things that has become more apparent with Instagram Reels and TikTok is that you want to use organic to feed the paid engine. So it's a great way now that you can get distribution on these platforms without having huge follower bases for you to test hooks and for you to test messaging that works in your marketplace and then finding out what works organically and then turning that into an ad and then amplifying it.
Think about that for a second. This is a guy who runs a massive advertising agency. I mean, it's literally in his interest to have you spend more money on ads if you're a client of his. But he's telling you that it all starts with organic content. If he's saying the secret is having an organic foundation first, then amplifying what works with ads, then you've got to pay attention to that. Meanwhile, the funnel gimps are telling you to go skip organic entirely and just throw cold traffic at VSLs. That is exactly backwards, and it frankly will not work for much longer. Okay, so here is my exact approach, and I call it dumbass simple because literally anyone can do this. Okay, step number one is build your organic foundation. I post 5 times a week on Instagram. Out of every 10 videos, I'm looking for about one that is an outlier that performs significantly better than the rest. rest. Step 2, you need to apply the concept of scale tax. Just like you put away a certain percentage away for the tax man, I put away about 15 to 20% of my cash collected into a scale tax for advertising. This super simplifies marketing budgeting. So you've got your fixed expenses, editors, content managers, whatever. Then you've got your kind of like flexible advertising costs, which is my scale tax. Okay, step 3, and I'm afraid this is going to break your mind, but I just boost the top performing piece of content to warm audiences. So I create custom audiences in Meta Business Suite. They're made up of my email subscribers, my Instagram followers, landing page viewers, and Skool About page visitors. I literally take any winning organic content and I boost it back to these warm audiences for about $10 to $15 per day per video. The best ads are the ads that don't look like ads. When I boost my organic content, it just looks like more valuable content to my audience, because that is exactly what it is. I'm not making brand new content for advertising. That's my secret. It's what I call low budget omnipresence. Super low budget, it's $10 a day per video. My audience sees my face constantly, but it's always associated with value, not pushy sales messages. I've turbocharged this with a simple ManyChat automation. So when someone comments on a boosted video of mine, they automatically get sent a long form video sent to them in the DMs, and I get their email as an exchange, which gets put onto my email list. This system's generated me on average about 50 leads per day for the last year, and it's helped me collect over 20,000 emails for my list in the past 12 months. Now, what I'm really doing with this strategy is what I call IP indoctrination, intellectual property indoctrination. I'm using my ads to brainwash my followers with my own intellectual property. All of the content that I put just teaches my unique methods and my mechanisms. So when someone's ready to buy, they already know exactly how I think and what I teach and how it relates to them. They're not buying from a stranger, they're buying from someone whose content they've been consuming for months. And the truth is, I've had clients who have recently started working with me who, I first met them like 2 years ago. Okay, so here's what I want you to understand about the future of advertising. While the funnel gimps are all celebrating their 2x ROAS and they're spending their amazing 80 hours per week managing complex campaigns and making 1,000 pieces of shite AI creative with ChatGPT, you could be getting a 37x ROAS with a system so simple that you can manage in just 30 minutes a week. I don't even spend 30 minutes a week, honestly. It's probably 30 minutes a month. The window for this approach is closing though, because as more creators like you guys figure this out, AI is going to be flooding the market, content's going to be increasing in volume, and ad costs are going to go. But even when my ROAS drops to maybe 20x or 15x, we'll still be beating the funnel gimps. Okay, if you're already doing 5 to 10K a month and you are serious about scaling to 20K, 40K, 60, 80, 100K per month without the complex funnels, hit the link below, DM me 77 on Instagram. I'll send you the details for Scale 20. That's where we help ambitious creators who want to be the top 1% in their market, and they implement my one simple flywheel growth infrastructure. And if you want to know exactly what that growth system looks like, check this video out here. Right, that was sick. I'll see you in the next one.